He is shown with Foolio's shooters before the attack in the now publicly accessible and pristine film that Yungeen Ace believed would never be seen. Remember how one of the shooters exposed him for arranging Foolio?
Ace had that money on his head, you know, Ace had him put that 10K up, told me to slide, told me to smack food.
Because of what? He was seen saying and preparing on the tape, Ace will be imprisoned for the rest of his life, revealing Yungeen Ace's ties to the people who killed Foolio just hours or maybe minutes before Foolio was attacked and shot dead. Yungeen Ace was seen standing amicably with 2 of the 3 men already charged in the murder, according to a video that has gone popular on Twitter, YouTube, and even police forums. Is not just found on the internet. Sound One detective described Foolio's attack as having been planned like a military operation. Now Ace's name is being utilized again, but not as a rapper or artist, but as a possible accomplice. Is it feasible that this footage links the people who killed Foolio in broad daylight to one of Jacksonville's most famous rappers? Or is this place just filled with smoke? Dismissed a few minutes after making a post on the Reddit thread about unsolved hip-hop killings. After being clipped, reposted, and examined, blogs and Instagram pages such as DJ Academics and No Jumper quickly picked it up. The caption that resulted was straightforward. Little Ace was seen with Foolio's alleged killers prior to Tampa's attack. Could this be a coincidence? In the shortened question, Ace appears to be at a studio party in Jacksonville. 2 of the people on the film, Sean Gaywright and Dave Murphy, were later recognized by the Tampa Police Department as armed suspects in the murder of Charles Jones, also known as Foolio. The fact that law enforcement isn't contesting any of it is the most ridiculous part. At a news conference a few days after the incident, the Hillsborough County State Attorney claimed to have visual evidence. He also took a recording of it.
Detectives used footage from the scene, license plate readers, and phone logs to identify 2 vehicles and link them back to the suspects.
The same footage is now being dissected frame by frame by the internet instead of police enforcement. Fans, websites, and even Foolio's close circle are asking the question. Ace was talking to them, but why? What? In a hotel parking lot, more importantly. But to understand the significance of this footage, you need to understand the backdrop. Ace's sibling and 2 of his best friends were killed in a drive-by shooting in 2018. The scene in Jacksonville was rocked. A few days later, Foolio's own cousin, Zion Brown, was shot and killed in his home. Foolio spoke openly about the pain in a heartbreaking...
That night he died, so that's my head up. I'm like, damn, holding grudges with like that thing, like that's like crushed me, bro.
A few months from now, let's go on. By donning a rest in urine 23, Foolio is mocking Ace's departed sibling. The emphasis shifted away from music. There was blood flowing in and out. And throughout the following years, the blood flow grew heavier. Ace was shot. They ambushed Foolio. Both of them lost close friends. To the outer world, it looked like meat. But if you watched the videos, read the subtweets, and looked at the Clubhouse comments, you could tell that something was wrong. Then Foolio was shot and died in Tampa on what should have been a joyous weekend.
I look up, I just see, you feel me, shooters. I just kept telling him to duck. He wasn't really saying much. I ain't really hear him say really, cause the gunfire was so loud. I already knew when I stopped the car, cause he wasn't responding. I heard him take his last, bro.
His driver, O'Mara, 55, later talked about the horrifying times they witnessed Foolio die quietly as gunshots ripped through the car surrounding them. In this new video, Ace is now seen standing adjacent to the people who fired the shot. What follows? At this point, things get considerably more hectic. Ace has publicly denied any role in Foolio's death, calling off rumors as baseless and focusing instead on his music. In a recent interview, Ace was asked directly about Foolio's death and whether he was involved in it. He said,
"People feel like I'm behind a lot, but I'm not. I'm not behind I'm working, I'm grinding every day. I'm grinding. I got to.
Moreover, although the timeline supports Ace's denial, it does not support Ace's denial. Because only 2 weeks before Foolio's death, rumors of odd movement in Jacksonville had already begun to spread online, especially in relation to Ace's crew and a group of out-of-town hitters. By the time Foolio got to Tampa, those murmurs had turned into blatant conspiracies. Additionally, 3 men have been charged, 2 of whom were captured on camera with Ace. Those theories don't seem that ridiculous anymore. Let's talk about the ALLEGED killers now. The 21-year-old known ATK member Isaiah Chance was undoubtedly a lookout, keeping tabs on Foolio's movements, but the video suggests his role was far more intimate than simply keeping watch from afar. Rumor has it that he even attended the party prior to the hit and mingled with the crowd. Due to her pregnancy, 21-year-old lookout Alicia Andrews, who is associated with the suspects, will not be put to death. The fact that Andrews was pregnant while helping to plan someone's murder adds even more icy elements to this tragedy. You can realize how complex this process was when you understand the chess game that was being played. Foolio had survived previous gunshots and lost many friends to violence, which was indicative of the dangerous environment he was in. Homie knew he was being targeted. He knew the threat better than most. He was used to violence and deception. Even Foolio, who was streetwise and careful, could not have foreseen that his attackers would get near enough to share his birthday cake before shooting him. It is genuinely unnerving to see the mental traits of someone who may appear to be your friend while planning your murder. The 18-year-old Sean Gathright, who is believed to have been one of the 3 shooters, had to maintain his composure for hours while in close proximity to his target. Think about how much self-control it takes to laugh at someone else's jokes, share in their happiness, and maybe even take a picture with them, especially when you know you're going to kill them before the night is over. Rashad Murphy, a 30-year-old known member of the 1200 gang, is believed to have been one of the 3 gunmen. At 30, Murphy was the first to use this technique. The seasoned veteran knew exactly what they were intending and what it would lead to because they had enough experience. He was arrested on July 29, 2024, after a furious altercation with Jacksonville police. The fact that he went Murphy's character is revealed by the fact that he was firing when they came for him. He knew what he had done, and he knew what was coming. Davian Murphy, Rashad Murphy's cousin, 27, who was a well-known member of the 1200 gang, was perhaps the most terrifying person involved in this whole situation. On January 6, 2025, he was captured in Jacksonville after first eluding arrest for several months. The fact that this person managed to stay, he was aware that law enforcement was chasing his targets. But he managed to remain on the run for over 6 months, demonstrating the level of thought and preparation that went into this entire operation. The complexity of this system is demonstrated by the hotel scenario alone.
Prior to us getting to the hotel, he had called and made reservations. And then we got to the hotel, he went in, checked in, and they told him that the rooms already been taken.
It wasn't bad luck or a lack of preparation. This deliberate deception was done to place Foolio and his group in the exact vulnerable position that the killers need. If someone had interfered with the reservations or made sure they wouldn't be available, it would have been perfect for an ambush. Now for the bomb. Numerous stories on Instagram during the days prior to the murder, which has since been archived and studied by fans, shows Ace raping Sean and Davion in the studio. The video is unsteady. Even if faces are shaded, frame-by-frame analysis that compares tattoos and clothing makes it nearly impossible to deny. Instead of expressing their sorrow after Foolio's passing, several of Ace's well-known affiliates went live on Instagram to make jokes.
Everyone did that down. Foolio, Ludio.
Aren't just crude insults. The celebrations had a thin veil. They also showed up a few hours after the formal announcement of Foolio's death. Is it a confirmation or just a coincidence? The real surprise, though, was the audio that revealed how meticulously they had planned to enter Foolio's circle. The manner it was executed. After being asked to vacate the Airbnb, Foolio was shot in a hotel parking lot. However, we now know that every decision, every action, and every change in location that led to that parking lot was planned by people who had been planning for months. The cooperation demonstrated during the execution phase of this mission would make military planners jealous. Because of the degree of cooperation and preparation involved in Foolio's murder, all 5 of the people involved are charged with murder, even though only 3 of them actually fired the gun. Defendants were quite worried. The 3 attackers began the assault with 2 rifles and a handgun. One of these weapons was a pistol. Their psychology can be inferred from their choice of weapons. There was no intention of a hit and run. This was to be unequivocal, violent, and overwhelming. They brought enough weapons with them to not only destroy their primary target, but anyone who might try to protect him. By the time of the execution, the psychological calculations that went into each phase of this process are evident. Foolio was shot over 30 times with 2 rifles with brass catchers and a handgun with an extended high-capacity magazine. The use of brass catchers shows that they were taking forensic evidence into consideration, even in the heat of the moment.
I already knew when I stopped the car, because he wasn't responding. I heard him take his last, bro. When I woke up, I asked my people, they told me, like, they confirmed it. I ain't believe it, though.
Surveillance footage from the scene shows how clinically accurate the attack was.
This barrage of gunfire also struck 3 additional victims who miraculously survived this incident. Let's look at this video. This is at the hotel, and you can see the shooters are getting in position for their planned out murder. And they are shooting at Charles now. And you can see that he's the passenger in that car that's moving and trying to flee. And again, they're still shooting at him.
Even while the legal repercussions are still being sorted out. The severity of the allegations shows how seriously officials are taking this issue. Davon Murphy, Rashad Murphy, and Sean Gathite could be put to death, and all 5 defendants are charged with first-degree murder. Rashad Murphy is also accused of 3 first-degree murder charges. The fact that prosecutors are pursuing the death penalty shows that they understand how purposeful this execution is.
So Yungeen Ace has long been known in Jacksonville. We are consistently monitoring those groups. We have people that are always watching them. I won't speak to the chief's investigation. That's up to TPD. We don't have an investigation on him right now, but he can't move around in Jacksonville without us knowing about it. And that's for the betterment of our community.
But even laws couldn't stop this execution because it was carried out by the people who were supposed to be inside. The aftermath, ATK versus KTA's legacy, and Yungeen Ace's new reality. After the dust has cleared and Foolio's body has been buried, let's talk about the execution's actual significance for Jacksonville's streets and how it has changed the trajectory of everyone involved. The ATK versus KTA dispute did not start with Foolio's death, nor did it conclude with it. All of the Jacksonville players are now acting differently though, as the power dynamics have entirely shifted. ATK, Acee's top killers, and KTA kill them all. 2 gangs with deep ties to the local rap scene in Jacksonville, Florida, are fighting violently. But this rivalry is about much more than just music. We're talking about territorial dominance, respect, drug money, and a weird genealogical characteristic of hostility that has been passed down through the years. The murder of Zion Malik Brown, a relative of rapper Julio Foolio, who is connected to the KTA. In May 2017, most likely set off a chain reaction of retaliatory violence.
When you heard about the murder, how'd you feel?
I was crushed, cause it's like, I could have saved him, like, you know? I could have, like, cause I was, like, on the phone with him, like, he called me, he was like, big cuz. That's my cousin, you know what I'm saying? He like, cuz, let me come to Daytona with you. I'm trying to come to Daytona. I was mad at him for a dumb reason, like, I straight told him, no, bro, you can't come with me. Like, I don't with you right now. Hung up on him. That night he died, so that fucked my head up.
This video illustrates how intensely personal Foolio's feud was. His cousin's death wasn't just another victim of the streets. Everything that happened next became far more deadly and intimate because it was family. Rappers like Yungeen Ace and Julio Foolio have used their music to tease rivals with millions-view songs like When I See You Ta and Who I Smoke ATK, which often talk about the escalating tensions brought on by deceased rivals. The music became a psychological weapon, as each diss track was a public act of disrespect, demanding retribution.
Well, after Yungeen Ace gets shot and his brother gets killed, you wore a T-shirt that said "Rest in Piss 23."
Yeah,
With a picture of him on the shirt.
yeah.
Okay. Why do that?
It was just like, if you ain't with my hood, you like, it was just like it was just a lot of like talking and like undercover, like a lot of shit being said. So I ain't the type, like I'm a bold person. I'm gonna put a name on anything I say, you know what I'm saying? Like people that do tit for tat, sneak this, and so when I do something, I'm gonna go all the way, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. I went all the way and I addressed it, yeah.
This level of contempt went beyond simply conveying messages. Psychological warfare was employed to break your enemy's spirit and make them make emotional choices that would ultimately result in their death. But now that Foolio is dead, Yungeen Ace is in a completely different position. The relationship with Yungeen Ace gives this story a more street political tone. Yungeen Ace has stated candidly that he denied any role in the murder and said he had a friendly relationship with Foolio before his death. But in a widely circulated video, an unnamed person wearing a ski mask claimed to be the shooter and stated that Yungeen Ace had paid him $10,000 to carry out the crime. Whether this claim is true or not, it shows how the execution portion of the operation was designed to spread messages throughout the Jacksonville street scene.
I don't know him. I never seen him before in my life.
An interesting contrast to the other data is the Yungeen Ace's denial of a personal relationship with Foolio.
Well, you've never met him in person. Have the
Never.
two of you actually talked on the phone?
Never talked.
So when he said that you guys had talked, you're saying that's not true?
No, I ain't saying that. No, we don't. He don't. It's like we done dealt each other before.
The importance of the personal betrayal depicted in the new video is increased by the fact that they admitted to using direct messages, suggesting that even the main players in this fight had some communication. TK Waters, the sheriff, is passionately against gang violence, focusing specifically on the ways that drill music, in his view, fuels local crime. The majority of street guys couldn't imagine how they would handle the increased heat on Ace.
Jacksonville police and I don't know how they be doing it, but they always call around and cancel my shows. What's up with y'all? What's going on? Why y'all want to cancel my show? I don't even live there in Jacksonville. Why y'all want to cancel my? Why y'all trying to up my money? Yeah, man, y'all trying to up my life. Cause y'all worry about what I got going on. I ain't dying. I ain't fucking with y'all. Y'all better leave me the fuck alone.
Is under a lot of pressure from the cops, as this video shows. They're not just watching him, they are purposefully impeding his capacity to make a living and live a happy life. In that kind of heat, even the toughest street guys consider making a permanent move. Sheriff Waters has stated unequivocally that Yungeen Ace is closely monitored by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, JSO headquarters. Ace is essentially always being watched since, according to the sheriff, he can't travel around Jacksonville without us noticing. That is not merely inconvenient. The psychological torture is intended to make him leave the city for good. Waters has also promised to bring RICO charges against ATK, suggesting that a criminal organization investigation may be conducted into the group. RICO charges, which include federal penalties that might result in life imprisonment for all involved, would treat ATK as an organized crime family. That kind of pressure causes people to turn on one another, shattering crews. Ace's recent behavior and statements demonstrate the mental toll it has had on him.
I mean, some people feel like you were behind that.
I'm sure, but people feel like I'm behind lots. But I'm not. I'm not behind. I'm working. I'm grinding every day. I'm grinding. I got a family. I'm working. I'm grinding. I'm trying to be big. I'm trying to be big.
Ace's more reflective side comes through in this statement. He appears to be making an effort to distance himself from the violence and focus on attaining actual success. But leaving the streets isn't often that simple. In December 2024, Yungeen Ace announced the collapse of the ATK collective. Citing internal issues, including in addition to the organization's failure to cover the costs of the funeral and legal fees. Ace's course has changed significantly with this announcement. Dismantling a TK may be seen as an attempt to distance himself from the charges of being a criminal organization, even though it also renders him more susceptible on the streets.
That was last week.
Yeah, that was.
But it's been like, he's dropping. Like, we might need to double back.
I haven't been 100% tuned in. So what, there's a lot of Florida going on?
A lot of what's the Yungeen Ace?
His boys?
Yeah, been dropping like 6 of them.
This video suggests that even after Fio's death, the violence has persisted. Ace is still a target, and the dispute is still going strong since his associates are continually being assassinated. Winning one battle does not guarantee that you will win the war. In actuality, Ace's current situation is complex. He has, on the one hand, achieved a success that the majority of street rappers never achieve. Millions of people have listened to his music. He's developing a respectable job and earning real money. However, he is unable to fully enjoy that achievement because of a vicious cycle of police harassment and assault.
You never know what can happen. You know, like, it ain't no, you know what I'm saying? We want to kill each other. Nah, we just mutual.
This excerpt from a prior Fio interview demonstrates his belief that the feud might be resolved amicably, which adds to the tragedy of his death by indicating that he was willing to put an end to it. Ace must now live with the knowledge that Foolio killed any chance for peace. Everything Ace does now shows the psychological toll of this lifestyle. Every commercial decision, social media post, and public appearance must be planned with the knowledge that he is being observed by law enforcement, tracked by adversaries, and evaluated by a public that views him as either a success story or a warning. Will he be taken into custody? Perhaps, perhaps not at all. However, it is evident that this beef has changed. Law enforcement is treating what began as a local gang dispute as though it were a nationally recognized deadly rivalry. ATK has been singled out by Jacksonville Sheriff TK Waters for possible RICO action charges, indicating their involvement in organized crime. It represents a significant change in the way that gang violence is prosecuted. It's more akin to breaking up a mafia than street fighting. To view further films similar to this one, click on one of the cards on your screen.